Hey everybody, so my sourdough got kind of funky. It's been really warm here for a few days and they got pretty moldy and mildewy on the inside, and they don't smell too bad yet, but if I let them go, it's been about a week since I fed them last, and it's been hot here, plus the kids have been busy, just hadn't gotten to it. But it's time to make more bread, and I'm going to feed them, get these drained out, and then feed them, get them working again, and then get some bread made in the next day or two, depending on how much they rise. So I love to stick this gunk and all this bacteria, though, down in my septic tank. We do live on acreage, and we're not connected to city sewer, so this is really good to feed our all the gunk in the septic system, and it helps prevent any issues down there. I just take my 1 cup measuring cup. I usually remove about a cup of the sourdough material from there, but first I drain off any of the loose liquid, and then a cup of the material. This one was a little bit short just because of what I was baking from last time. And then this also has some bacteria that had been exposed to air that's darker on the walls. I'm going to scrape that off before I mix everything down in. The other one is a lot fuller because the last couple recipes I did with this jar had just not required as much. So again, I'm going to drain this, just let liquid off, and 1 cup. I think last time I made bread, just rustic round, like a round loaf, and then sandwich bread, as well as like some sourdough pancakes. My kids love to make sourdough pancakes with the waste when the waste is fresh. Then I just run that down the drain. Get that nice and good. Okay, so now I've gotten both of these emptied and wiped down, so the jars are clean, and all that black stuff is off the rims, the lids. I did rinse out the lids fully, scrubbed the tops, so this is like a little kind of foam piece that's in the inside. I cleaned that all the way through, and then I wiped out the inside of the jar, so there's no black stuff. This one has about 175 mLs of the starter in it, and this one has about 50 mLs of starter. But for both of these, I'm going to do still just a half a cup of water and 3/4 cups of the flour. And I know the recipes y'all see, it always says don't use any bleached flour or whatever. I have not found it to make any difference. Once you have a good, healthy starter, I just use regular, traditional flour. And yeah, so I add my water first, and we have a house filtration system, so it keeps all the sediment out, plus we have good water. Our city water comes from local wells, but if you have a lot of chlorine in your water, you might want to not use that for your sourdough starter, though, because it can kill the bacteria. Of course, chlorine is a bleach product. That is going to be one of the things I've had affect my starters the most. When I lived in Georgia, we had heavily chlorinated water, and it did affect my starter when we were stationed down there. But of course, every area is different. So talk to the people you know that have sourdough and see what works for them depending on your region. I store my flour in bins. So I buy it all in bulk and then have storage bins for all of my baking supplies. Flour, sugar, rice, etc. So I find that it helps the cost, especially when you have a large family. So again, 1/2 cup of water, 3/4 cup of flour, and then I start to mix it. Get the edges really good. And I had already mixed the water in. That tends to help. This process can take a while, so I'm going to speed it up here until we get it all put together. Okay, so it's all goopy, looks kind of like paste. It is okay if it's lumpy or clumpy, because over time that will just work its way through, and then when you go to mix it in the morning or go to look at it later, it will be fine. I do recommend letting it go for about 24 hours. The nice thing about these particular sourdough jars is it comes with this great band with the last fed date on it. And so today is Saturday at around 2, so I can mark that, and I can also mark the starting level so I can see when it has doubled. It also shows me a temperature, so it's about 78 in here right now. That's really the warmest I would ever want it to be. Again, like I was saying before, when it was so hot, it made it really grow out of control and some bacteria I did not want necessarily. So I'm at about 400 mLs on this one, and at about 250 on this. Yep, so then we'll be ready for feeding it again tomorrow, and potentially, depending on how well it's reacting, making something with the waste that we use, like some sourdough pancakes, or got a great cake recipe for that.